People looking for a battery electric vehicle now have a lot of options. Sometimes a single automaker has more than one. Case in point, the 2022 Kia Niro EV. This crossover has been around since 2019 and it's one of the pioneering BEVs that broke past the 200-mile mark. However, the Niro is now sitting on the same lot as the newer, more stylish EV6. Unsurprisingly, there's some overlap between them, but how much? We've driven both and the Kia Niro just might be all the EV you need. In this video, we'll explore the features of the Niro EV outside and in. We'll take it for a test drive and see how practical it is as an everyday vehicle. We'll also compare its pricing, range, and other critical metrics with the EV6, in addition to a couple of its closest competitors. But first, let's take a look at how today's tester slots in with the rest of the family. The Niro comes in three flavors. There's a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, aka a PHEV, and the fully electric model we're evaluating today. The hybrid and PHEV use a 4-cylinder engine coupled to a lithium-ion battery, 6-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, and electric motor. Both make around 140 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque combined. Meanwhile, the Niro EV single electric motor makes 200 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque and puts it down through the front wheels. That makes it the most powerful member of the Niro family. Perhaps more impressive, it also beats out the base trim of the EV6 in both metrics by 33 horses and 33 pound-feet. Looking at efficiency, the standard Niro hybrid is rated for as much as 50 miles per gallon combined, dependent on the tires equipped. The Niro PHEV can travel up to 26 miles in all-electric mode and is EPA rated at 46 mpg. In EV guys, the Niro is good for nearly 240 miles of range and is rated at 112 mpge. Since it first appeared 5 years ago, the Niro has always embraced the fact that it looks, well, normal. It's essentially a hatchback with a very slight lift and an upright greenhouse. So yes, the Niro EV flies under the radar. This is the BEV for you if you want something that doesn't scream, "Look at me!" Well, save for the de rigueur blocked out grille and turquoise accents. Like the exterior, the interior is fairly conventional. There are regular buttons and only one biggish screen instead of two massive panels in the EV6. It does have some neat touches though, like the rotary shifter and a center console that's disconnected from the dash. That gives you more space for your knickknacks. Additionally, the Niro EV has a reconfigurable center console with retractable cup holders for extra flexibility. 4 average-sized passengers will fit comfortably despite its compact dimensions, thanks to its taller profile. There's a lot of cargo space too, and the rear seats fold completely flat. More on that in a bit. You get great visibility all around, something that we think is compromised in the EV6 because of its aerodynamic styling. The material quality is typical mainstream fare. There are lots of soft-touch surfaces and padding, and the harder bits feel durable. We do wish there was a little more sound deadening though, because there's a good bit of wind noise at highway speeds. This is the department where the EV6 excels, being positioned higher up in the lineup. Hyundai and Kia are well known for user-friendly infotainment systems, and it's no different in the Niro EV. It may not be the newest UI, but it's still quick and intuitive. The available Harman Kardon audio system is pretty nice too, and it's easy to customize. Versus the EV6, you're only missing out on a head-up display and augmented reality for the built-in navigation system. If safety is your main priority, then you're in for a treat because Kia gives their cars plenty of driver assistance technologies as standard. Automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, highway driving assist, and blind spot monitoring are all present and accounted for. The only feature missing on the Niro EV is automatic lane changing. On the road, the Niro EV is more of a cruiser, but somehow it manages to be almost as fun to drive as the EV6. It's pretty comfortable and has a cushy ride over the majority of road surfaces. As for the steering, it's accurate and weighted nicely, adding to the car's approachability. Put your foot down and you get quick acceleration from the electric motor. Thanks to its instant response, you're never short on power, making it essential to get around slower vehicles even with the car in eco mode. Thanks to the 64 kilowatt-hour battery mounted under the passenger compartment, the Niro EV center of gravity is super low. As a result, it feels confident on the road and doesn't have much body roll. It's no hot hatch though. The eco-focused tires squeal quickly when you get a little enthusiastic through curvy roads. Additionally, the suspension is tuned more for daily usability instead of sporty handling. There is one big problem though, and that's wheel spin. All of that torque easily overpowers the front wheels, spinning the tires for a good bit from a standstill. Once it bites, there's decent grip, but keep in mind, you'll end up squealing the tires a lot if you get a little too eager. You can tell that the Niro EV is an older generation vehicle once you start using the brakes. Transitions from regenerative to mechanical braking aren't as linear, and you have to hold the left paddle to bring the car to a complete stop via one-pedal driving. Now that you know what it's like to drive, let's break down some of the critical specs with the Niro and its competition. But first, if you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? On the EV Pulse channel, you'll find reviews and features on the latest electrified vehicles like the Mustang Mach-E, Kia EV6, and BMW iX. We expect the second generation Kia Niro family to arrive in dealerships by the end of the year, but spending time in this first generation car shows that it's still compelling. In fact, we think it gives the EV6 a good run for its money in a few ways. Here's how the vehicles stack up. As mentioned before, the Niro EV is rated for about 240 miles per charge. The most inexpensive EV6 configuration, called the Lite, clocks in at 7 miles less. And here's something else we bet you wouldn't guess. The Niro beats out the EV6 in total cargo capacity ever so slightly. It gets 53 cubic feet of grocery getting and luggage hauling room. Kia's newest EV, on the other hand, tops out at 50.2 cubic feet. As for price, the base Niro is about $1,000 cheaper than the EV6 Lite, and tops out at just over $47,000 including destination. If you're looking for more equipment in an EV6, you'll need to upgrade to the long-range models, which will cost you at least $48,000, and the pricing goes up from there. If the Niro EV is on your shopping list, then it's likely you're also looking at similar EVs like the Nissan Leaf Plus and Volkswagen ID.4. The former is among the least expensive BEVs sold in the US, with a starting price of just over $33,000. A fully loaded Leaf Plus will cost you just over $38,000, but its range is the lowest at 215 miles per charge. The Leaf also trails other options at only 30 cubic feet, but keep in mind, this car is essentially a compact hatchback. The ID.4 single-motor version, on the other hand, starts at $42,000, about $800 more than the Niro EV, and maxes out at $48,350. That gets you the same 201 horsepower as the Niro, but a driving range of up to 280 miles for the single-motor version. The ID.4 is also the cargo capacity winner of this pack at 64.2 cubic feet. If there's one thing holding back the Niro EV, it's the 100 kilowatt peak DC charging rate. Being the newer cars, the EV6 and ID.4 can both DC charge at higher peak rates, resulting in shorter charging times. Most notable here is big brother Kia, which says 217 miles can be reclaimed in only 18 minutes of charging. Even when you consider that, the value proposition doesn't exactly diminish, especially since none of these use an overly large battery. Before wrapping up, let's revisit some of the pros and cons of the Niro EV. As for the good, we have the roomy interior, which makes the Niro more practical than its size might suggest. It also has a lot of safety features as standard equipment and user-friendly tech features. Finally, the Niro EV manages to stay under $50,000 fully loaded, making it a great value. The trade-offs include a noisy cabin and, for some, the conservative exterior styling. However, the biggest one may be its peak DC charging rate, which is lower than most new BEVs on the market. The EV6 may be the new hotness on the block, but the Niro EV is the long-established entry that quietly paved the way. For those looking for something approachable and practical, give the Niro EV a look. Despite its age, the value proposition and substance are still there, especially if you want a fully loaded long-range BEV for under $50,000. For more on the 2022 Kia Niro EV and the rest of the lineup, visit evpulse.com to read our full article. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps us produce more reviews on the newest EVs to hit the streets.